Okay, so you got yourself in a little bit of a pickle and might have overcharged a couple of little things, but they sort of added up to a few $100s of the bill. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. And you're not quite looking forward to getting that bill in the mail. Let's talk about it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Jan. Welcome to another episode on this channel, the Save Money and More with Jan channel. Listen. If you are a lower income person, okay, the tendency might be to grab good old plastic because it's like sort of like an out of mind, out of sight kind of thing with cash. And it is kind of a tough thing to hand over cash that you really don't have too much of. So people got into the habit over time to take out a piece of plastic and make an exchange of services, whether it's for that after school snack or that pair of shoes with the extra frills to it, or whatever the thing that came up, or the unexpected thing that really did need attention came up. And then you find yourself, well, not so happy that you had to use your card. Let's talk about a saving strategy for low income money keeping, money saving, money using. Listen, if we could all live on love, there's a lot of love in this world. Well, I like to think there is, as much as a lot of not so much love, but there's also a lot of love in this world. If we could only live on love, I don't think anyone would have a problem ever getting into DEBT. But let's talk about this. Let's say that you ran up a bill that ran over 300 bucks. And for you in your position, you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So seriously, this video is for the lower income person that wants to save money. You know what? I am a believer, a firm believer of the following. I can't do things in big chunks. I rather do things in baby bites. Seriously, the second you get home, sit down and find out for true and for sure how much you charge. Write that number down. Stop. This is what I would do. I can't tell anyone else what to do. I could suggest, I could consider, but I'm saying, here is what I would do. First of all, I would try to avoid it in the first place, but everybody has a different life. Okay. So let's pretend I'm in the lifestyle where, oh my gosh, I have no choice. I have to use my bit of plastic for A, B, C, D, E, and F, G. Okay. And then I realize there's a lot of A, B, C, D, E, F, G's on that bill that's upcoming. Then all of a sudden I get into a sinking feeling in my stomach. Oh my, oh me, oh my, did I overdo it? All right. So let's say you overdid it to the tune of over 300 bucks. Where, oh, where is that money come from? Then, of course, the temptation is, well, all right, I'll pay a minimum payment this month, and then I'll take care of the whole chunk next month. If you don't have a plan in place, and if you don't have the funds already, what makes that person think? I'm not saying it's you specifically, the listener, but there might be one or two listeners out there. And that's why I make this kind of video. I don't have to make this kind of video because sometimes things get a little repetitive, even for me to say. Think about that for a second. But I want to make this message. I want to reach that one or two, maybe three person or persons who where really this may strike a bell. All right. All right. So I digress and I'm sorry about that. So let's go back to it. So let's say that this thing happened. 9 out of 10, if the person isn't meeting the ability the first time around, what makes them think they're going to do it the following month? Going to have more interest charges. That's what you're going to do. We could humor ourselves and say, well, I paid the minimum balance and now I'm A-OK. Sounds good, but not necessarily. I'm just saying. All right. Here's a better idea. Knock the whole thing out of the ballpark. But Jan, I don't have the money. Oh, this is where the mistake part is. A lot of people think they don't have the money. They think they don't. Okay. But the truth be told is they do because like someone smart said, it's not about how about your debt. It's about how much you spending habits. It's not about how much you make, it's about your spending habits. It all goes back to habits, our money habits, okay? So, since we realized that this time around we really overdid it, let's get down to brass tacks. If you owe, let's say, $310, that works out beautifully because I could take 31 days in the calendar month, okay? And I could find a way each and every single day of the month. Now, I know it sounds tedious, but it's really not. It really is not. Find ways to not spend, not necessarily save, but not spend $10 that day. Like, here's a common one. Bring your lunch to work. Lunch these days could run anywhere between $7 and over. And I mean a lot over. So if you're not in the habit of that, make your own lunch. Got food at home? Make your own lunch. Got leftovers? Got some leftover meatloaf? Huh, I'd be happy to have a homemade meatloaf sandwich in the middle of the day instead of some questionable stuff from wherever. Okay, that's one example. Perhaps a friend could drop you off at work and you don't have to spend money on gas for a couple of days. Okay, I'm just saying, get resourceful. Every day of the month, find a way to save $10. Let's say that you had a different reason that you need the money, forgetting about the credit card. Let's wipe away credit card. Okay, so now we know we can pay that whole bill totally by just saving a mere $10 a day easily, easily, just by bringing your lunch to work. There are like a gazillion other ideas, and I've gone over them a lot, but think about your own money habits, think about your own life. Ask yourself, how can I save $10 a day? All right. So let's say there's a different situation, all right? You're like, uh-oh, I don't want to get behind in any of my bills. Especially, all right, especially, there are two especiallys, okay? To me, Jan, these are non-negotiable. Everything else in my honest, everything else is negotiable. You have to have a roof. I know some people have made great adaptations in their life, but they're making sure they still have a housing or a roof over their head. You have to have coverage, you have to have a roof, you have to have your four walls, if you will. And especially if you live in a city situation, need electricity in some way, shape, manner, or form. Even the other ways, going off grid, that still costs money. By the way, for the record, it may not cost as much, let's say, but if there's a will, there's a way. I have my bill down to 77 bucks a month for my energy bill. That would include gas and electric in mine. We just do not need to use gas anymore in this building because the building owner decided to go electricity all the way and not with the stoves. No more gas stoves here. This has been going on about 5 years, so I don't have to worry about using gas. But anyway, but the company I use would have paid to pay it rather gas and electric. These two, in my mind's eye, and everybody's priorities are different. Perhaps your priorities are different. Okay. Everybody's life is different. Some people are perfectly happy. I'm not even kidding you on this one. Living in, let's say, less conventional manner because they want to save up their money. But that's another show. It truly is another show. But in my opinion, your roof and your electrical power to Jan, this is to Jan, whatever you think, you think. But here's what I think non negotiable. I don't care. They always those 2 bills always go out immediately, if not sooner. I'm the type of person I like to pay certain bills, especially those bills, very fast. Sometimes I'm a week early or 2 early on those things because I want to be. That's me. Now, everybody's life is different. But wouldn't it be nice for you to not have to look back and fall behind? Wouldn't it be nice just for once to not incur a late fee? So in your case, let's pretend, okay? Let's pretend that you want $150 by the end of the billing cycle month. You want to be ahead of your bills. So how can you start that? The same method of the $310, $10 a day, with one exception. You're chopping it down to a tiny $5 a day. Now, like I've always said, 5 is my lucky number. Anticipate. Every single month is different. This is why I always like kind of like push people into the idea of budgeting, spending plan. No month is completely identical. Maybe your income is identical every month in some cases. Certain paydays identical, certain benefits identical, certain social security identical. I get that. But that doesn't mean your expenses are identical. Every single month is different. And maybe one month people rob Peter to pay Paul. That's an expression. No one is telling anyone to steal from anyone. That's an old time expression. What it means is like you're exchanging from one area to another area allocation of your funding. Okay. Every single month is different. But the beauty part is this: when you know a fixed bill is coming, and you know that for whatever the reason, I wouldn't know the reason you're having a tighter month, this is the time to pull out all stops and say, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to get ahead of myself. I want to be ahead of the game, even with a mere $5 a day. That's that cup of coffee that some people just taste so much better when somebody outside makes it. I get that. Well, not really, because I always drink my coffee at home. I kind of don't get that, but some people insist that outside coffee tastes better. I think it's a psychological thing. And I'm not saying never do that, but if you have a goal in mind, can you imagine being ahead of the game? Can you imagine for once in your life not paying a late bill, a late fee on a bill? So let's say that's 150. All you have to do is remember $5 a day. Okay. Now you don't have to take a $5 bill and stash it away. However, if that's what you enjoy doing, do it. You could also go the $35 a week route. All you have to do is make sure that you are keeping by not spending, perhaps have a no spend day, and you already paid the bill to yourself of $35 a week. You see where I'm going with this. And at the end of the month, you are ready to pay that light bill or that smaller credit card bill off completely. And I just want to mention something in closing. Here is where a lot of people fall into the rabbit hole of credit card debt. It has been my observation, just from listening to stories, that it didn't take a whole lot of money to fall into that rabbit hole of debt. It's the people that insist they have to get a whole bunch of little things, and they put that whole bunch of little things on their card. Sometimes even the thought of, let's say, a $30 gap that one doesn't have might prevent someone from paying off their entire bill. Let's say that bill was $100, but you don't have 100, you only have 70 in your budget to pay it off. By all means, at least do that. Pay off as much as you can the first time around. But just think about something. To fall into the rabbit hole of credit card debt just for minor amounts of money is actually kind of creepy and kind of scary. However, there is great news on the horizon. The whole thing is completely avoidable. The whole thing is avoidable when what? When one knows their numbers. Please take the time to look at your numbers. Don't be afraid of your numbers. You're bigger than the numbers are. You are bigger than the numbers. Don't let those numbers make your mind go bonkers. You look at the numbers and say, you know what? I can do this. Together, we can do this. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate everybody's time. Don't forget to come back every single morning when 5 a.m. And that means every single day of the week, including Saturday and Sunday. Some things just never sleep. They say the city never sleeps. Well, I could actually agree with that. Have an amazing, fantastic day. Don't forget to take good care of your family as well as yourself. If you don't take good care of yourself, you can't really do a great job of taking care of your family. Have a great day. Thank you.